A blessed Friday to us. What is so significant here in this particular section of the Gospel of St. Matthew? Actually, this is still part of the so-called the Beatitudes section, which is Jesus' first sermon section in the Sermon of the Mount. And part of the Beatitudes that he actually already taught has also something to do with reviewing the commandments as it has been given from the time of Moses. But it is in this way that Jesus would always say, "But I say to you," in the sense that he gives a deeper understanding of, for example, in this gospel reading today, a particular commandment, which is the fifth commandment, "You shall not kill." In other words, killing is not just limited to ending the life of a person. But according to his teaching, even if you are angry, even if you say something bad to your brother or your sister, that is already liable to the so-called fifth commandment. Which actually reminds me, it was an interesting and exciting experience because when I was studying in Rome, there were actually a number of courses offered during one of the semesters. When I was still, I think, already in third year, no, at the Biblicum. And one of the courses offered was second commandment for one semester and the fifth commandment for that same semester. So there are two courses. So I opted for the second commandment because I know it will be offered back in the later years. And so this is an interesting thing because even the commandments of the Lord, when you study it in the Biblicum, they have one whole semester for that. And this section of today's gospel reading is just one particular or a tiny glimpse into what the commandment is. After all, let us not talk about so much details because sometimes if we talk about the tails, we will miss the head. Do you understand what I'm talking about? If you are so focused on the tails or the tail, we do not see the head. We have to see the head and grasp the real meaning of it. Why is it so important to understand this thing? Because this is in connection with what Jesus said, surpassing the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. They do a lot of things in order to be seen and to be understood that they are following the law. But it's only very haphazard or kanabang naara sa ibabaw ba? No? It's just a scratch in the surface. It's not only all about words, but it's about deeds. It's all about actions that are responses to the very commandments and challenges that God has given us. After all, when we talk about the fifth commandment, killing the person, whether physically or spiritually in such a way, we are images of God. That's the reason why even if we are angry to a brother or a sister, don't forget God is in that person. Despite the kind of person that you are angry with, we are all created in the image and likeness of God. And as Christians, we are split images of Christ. That's why we are called Christians. And that's the reason why we have to be very careful about the respect that we give to other people. Even if we do not know them or we do not like them. Respect because he or she is God's image as we are. Amen.